UFC 239 goes down this Saturday in Las Vegas with Jon Jones defending his light heavyweight belt against Thiago Santos in the biggest card of the year during International Fight Week. To help us handicap this event, we've brought in former lightweight champ and current welterweight contender Anthony Showtime Pettis. Anthony, it is so great to have you with us. Lots to talk about, so let's get right into it. So tell me, what do you think of the main event with Jones here being a huge favorite at minus 600?
Yeah, I think it's only right. Jones is one of them guys that just looks invincible when it comes to the fight game, man. Like there's not many holes in his armor that you can exploit and pick apart. He's such a well-rounded fighter. It just makes sense that he's such a favorite.
Yeah, I hear you. And what about upsets? Are there any fights on the card that kind of stand out that we could see some major upset potential with?
Man, it is so hard to call fights right now in the UFC. There is so much. It's the year of underdogs. I mean, look at my last fight. I was such a huge underdog. The big knockout happens. Masvidal with the big knockout. I mean, it's crazy how many underdogs are winning this year. But in this card particularly, the fight I'm looking forward to is Ben Askren versus Masvidal. I am familiar with both of their styles. Ben Askren's my teammate, a former teammate. We still train together, and Masvidal coming off that huge knockout. A big fight to look at for me in the welterweight rankings.
Well, that's a great tip, and our viewers certainly love a good underdog, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. As a former champ who's entered the UFC octagon 16 times, you have a perspective and insight on fighting that viewers and bettors couldn't possibly have. So I want to get it inside your mind a little bit to figure out how you break down a fight to see if there's anything that a guy like me could use when handicapping a bout.
Yeah, man, honestly, the biggest thing right now to look at is what's trending as far as who's winning. You know, these judges, and that's what I get to look at, kind of the judges, because these knockouts and submissions, they can happen. Obviously, we favor the guy who has the better jiu-jitsu or striking in that particular setup. I mean, that advantage of the fight. But really the trends, like how are the judges scoring these rounds? Are they favoring the wrestling? Are they favoring the striking? Are they scoring the jiu-jitsu and grappling the way they're supposed to? So kind of just who's judging and kind of the trends of like what they're judging about. Like what are they looking at to win? Some judges like the activity, some judges like the control. So for me, I like to look at the judges. And then again, if you go into the fighters particularly, there's so much you could pick on. I mean, as far as weight cuts, as far as the mental of the fighter, looking at are they happy in their life right now? You can tell that a lot off of social media. You follow a fighter's page, you can tell how happy they are, how focused they are, or how much they want it based on their social media alone. So there's a lot of things right there you can look at and make some decisions off of as well.
Well, I love that. I love judge the judges. I always say it's important to handicap the officials when we're betting, and that's interesting about the mental state. Like, you think when you can tell when a fighter's in a good mental frame of mind?
Most definitely. You could just tell what the fighter's about at that particular time. And my experience, man, like, as the growth of your career happens, the money comes, the fame comes, the attention comes, you lose a little focus on what got you to the dance, and you see that happen from time to time, man. So I think if you can pick a fight that you're looking at, look at their social media for the last 2 months, look at their training camp, that'll show you their training camp, and you'll tell how focused they were or what they were really focused on.
I love it. Great advice. Do you think too much is made out of a bad weight cut or how a fighter looks when he's on the scale?
You know what? It's so hard to tell because some people have different results. I mean, you see a guy that's, used to cutting a lot of weight and they look like trash on the scale. But then, for example, Wonder Boy, he didn't look great on the scale, but the next day, dude was a giant. I mean, he's huge. So I think guys that understand the weight cut, and then again, it comes to the discipline in the training camp. Because if you were disciplined in training camp, you can cut a lot of weight and do it in a safe way because you trained your body to cut that weight. But if you're doing a crash cut, you didn't train hard enough and you didn't diet right, you're just like, all right, I'm going to get the last 10 pounds off no matter how it happens. That's when you feel the zap of a weight cut. Because we're supposed to prep our bodies for these weight cuts. We're supposed to be eating clean, water loading, doing all the right things that make that weight cut feel right. But some fighters skip corners, and that's how you feel the effects of weight cut.
Lastly, I want to talk to you a little bit about your next fight coming up a month from now when you take on Nate Diaz at UFC 241. This is shaping up to be a really entertaining, excellent bout. It's your second in a row at the welterweight. What advantages or disadvantages do you have in fighting in this weight class?
Man, honestly, advantages for me is this. I feel good. I'm not killing myself to cut weight. I'm not depleting my body of the nutrients I need to get through a training camp. So it feels good to be in the position I'm at, man. And I'm fighting Nate Diaz. You know, it's a guy that's not known as a huge welterweight. He's fought at lightweight before. It's not like he's got a huge advantage on me when it comes to size. He's definitely bigger. You know, even at lightweight he's bigger. But I'm healthy and I can actually train and not cut weight. I feel like I'm invincible, bro. And that's how I'm feeling right now. Just so mentally sharp and focused and wanting to go to the gym, wanting to train because I have the energy to do it.
Well, that's awesome. That you answered my next question, because you said it's important to look at that fighter's mental state, and I think you just answered that one for us for you, and that's great to hear. So if you win, where does this put you in the division? Do you think you'll get a title shot in what most consider to be a really stacked, tightly contested division?
Man, I think I'm making my stake for it. You know, I think it might take one more fight after Nate. Nate, again, is like a big name. He's not ranked as a welterweight, so I'm not sure what that does for me. But where I'm at in my career, dude, I'm looking for the big fights. I want the fights that fans are like, oh, I'm watching that fight no matter what. So I'm just gonna keep backing that up. As long as that keeps happening, I'm bound to be fighting for a title in the near future.
Awesome. Love it, Anthony. Well, we're pulling for you. And thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and good luck against Diaz in Anaheim. Make sure to check out OddsShark for a full preview and breakdown of UFC 239's main card. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get first access to content like this in the future. I'm Jonny OddsShark, helping you bet with Bite.